Welcome to the LAA Podcast special series dedicated to celebrating the International Association of Law Enforcement Intelligence Analysts, or IALIA's, 40th year anniversary. This series will cover a variety of topics, including the history of the association, what current local chapters are doing, the certification, training, the future of the association, and much more. Please join us in congratulating the members of the association, and let's jump into this episode where we can hear from some of the most influential members.
Thank you for joining me. LAA Podcast presents a special series dedicated to IALIA's 40th anniversary. Today is our wrap-up episode, the fifth and final episode of this series. With me today are two very influential people to IALIA, Sheila Dorn and Allison Price McGinnis. Ladies, how we doing?
Good, Jason. Thanks for having us.
Doing great, Jason. Thank you.
Sheila, would you introduce yourself first?
My name is Sheila Dorn. I've worked in intelligence specifically for 20 years, with about 30 years in the criminal justice field, mainly at the state and local levels for a variety of organizations. I have a PhD in criminal justice. I'm a CICA Criminal Intelligence Certified Analyst with IALIA. I've been also teaching intelligence and analytics at the college, undergraduate, and graduate level for several years now, and working with IALIA for the last 15 years.
Nice. And Allison?
Jason, Allison Price McGinnis. I've been a law enforcement intelligence analyst since 1998 at the regional, state, and federal level. I'm currently an analytical supervisor of a strategic intelligence group for a U.S. federal government agency. I've been a member of IALIA since 1998. I'm also CICA certified. I've been an active member of IALIA for several years now, many of them with the Mid-Atlantic chapter before moving to Washington, D.C. I was the international membership director for 3 terms, and I recently was elected to the vice president position.
And as I mentioned, this is the wrap-up episode. We've spent time with the Fiat training, chapters, certification, the history of IALIA, and this is our wrap-up episode. But there was 2 topics I wanted to discuss with you ladies that we didn't cover in previous episodes. One is the conference and the other is publications. Sheila, let's talk first about publications. Over the last 40 years, just give a general overview of what's been accomplished in terms of IALIA publications.
Sure, I'd love to, Jason. So one of the things that we do in IALIA is we have a peer-reviewed Journal of Intelligence Analysis. It's gone through a few titles early on, but Journal of Intelligence and Analysis is our peer-reviewed resource where we have analysts and academics writing about practical topics. And this work that we do is published at least biannually. We get it out there. We get feedback from our members that this is a really important resource, especially since we're so busy doing our work as analysts that sometimes we need to take a step back and communicate to others what we're doing and share all of the successes that we have. So the JIA is really important to us in IALIA. So the other publications that we have include the Intel Scope. It's a newsletter that we publish throughout the year for our members. It shares information about available training that's going on, articles of interest that may not be geared towards the Journal of Intelligence Analysis, but might be on the cutting edge of different practices or research that people are doing. It includes information about local chapters, people who have won awards or been awarded their CICA, Criminal Intelligence Certified Analyst. So we try to have a little bit of a celebration for people that way. We also have an intelligence library. It's been hit or miss to this point, but what we try to do is have all of our members contribute research and articles that have been published about intelligence and analysis. We also have some kind of groundbreaking documents in our reference library, our intelligence library. So that includes things like how to build an intelligence unit, different sample assessments that people have done, the analytic toolkit, any national and international level documents that we've had a hand in writing and publishing. So one of the things that we're looking to do over the next few years as we look towards the future is to improve our bibliography, the different articles that our members have published that relate to intelligence analysis, transnational organized crime, gangs, guns, drugs, human trafficking, make sure that we have a body of literature that our analysts can refer to when they need to research topics or do some quick online reviews in order to recommend something internally to their management. So those are our publication and resources.
And are all those available on the website, if you remember?
They are, yes.
That's an impressive library then. Do you have any idea how many publications are on there? I mean, if you don't have the exact number, I was just curious based on what you just described.
Well, we have journals dating back to the mid 1980s, so at least one every year. And lately we've been doing about 2 a year.
Oh.
So quite a resource there, and probably 50 or 60 different articles. Would you say that's accurate, Allison?
I would say so. It's certainly something that we're trying to add, especially if they were in paper format before. We're trying to get more of it uploaded on the website, some of the historical documents, but we're also trying to bolster it, like Sheila mentioned.
Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about conferences. 40 years ago, IALEA was formed, and then the very next year was the first conference. So we'll start with you, Allison. From your point of view, what has the conferences meant to you?
The conferences for me have always been, when you're in the law enforcement profession, you're generally going to things that are focused perhaps on the enforcement side of the house. And the IALEA LEIU conferences for me were always that place that it really was geared specifically to the intelligence analyst. Every topic, every presentation that was there is about the analyst. It's that one time a year that we can all come together with other analysts from not only just the United States, but around the world and share different things and just learn from each other. That's just been great for me. And it's been a great networking opportunity for me. I've always met somebody who became a resource in my day-to-day operations every time I've gone to a conference.
Okay. And how about you, Sheila?
I agree. I think Allison hit most of the main points there. For me, similar to Allison, our conferences have always been about networking, reinforcing that we have a really great community of smart people in the intelligence analysis world. If you haven't had an opportunity to go to a week at IALEA, please go. For me, it's reinvigorating. It reminds me why I do what I do when I might be toiling at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to finish up some sort of intel product for a local law enforcement agency or a state law enforcement agency. It may feel like an army of one, that all on my own, but definitely our conferences are the way to re-engage with people and reassure us that we're not alone as we work through our day-to-day work and as we plan for the future. Dallas, Texas is coming up in the springtime. We've had to cancel, unfortunately, a couple of conferences because of COVID, but Dallas, Texas is on and we're headed there. And I can't wait to see friends and comrades and people I haven't seen from the international community for a number of years now. So it's going to be a great event. Jason, we'll see you there.
Yeah. So I'm always interested in the variety of topics covered throughout the week. It's certainly a law enforcement intelligence analyst conference, but at the same time, at any time during the day, you can sit in and learn various topics that are covered. And so that's one of the things I like to do is just come in there and absorb some of the knowledge that's being talked about throughout the week.
It's definitely the power of engagement. And for our professional organization, a lot of our engagement has to be done via our website because we're all stuck in our cubicles for 40 hours a week. And this is a way to engage face-to-face, talk with people who are the I in IALEA, the international perspective. We have members from Jamaica, the UK, Canada, Mexico, Central and Southern America, and then a number of African countries. We have a strong membership in Nigeria. We're building one in Uganda. We have members from South Africa. 60 different countries are represented amongst our membership. This is an opportunity for everybody to get together in one area on one playing field and learn about the same topics. It's difficult sometimes to do that virtual learning activity, but when you're face to face, when you feel the energy that goes on during our conferences, you get addicted.
For Dallas, then, is there anything, it's probably kind of early to say this, but international folks coming in? Is there anything you're being told about what they can expect coming into Dallas?
Well, what we can say right now, Jason, is that we are moving forward with the conference in Dallas. And as Sheila mentioned, it's April 25th to the 29th. Our hope is it goes forward, and we're going to have to play it by ear as we get closer, but we are operating as if it's going to go on. There will be several pre-conference training opportunities that are going to be offered on that Sunday before the conference kicks off. We do have a call for presentations that is going to go out shortly, mid-November. We're going to send that out. So we do want to encourage people to submit for presentations, to share their experience with the community by doing a block of instruction at the conference. So, it's been tough for us the last 2 years. Obviously, COVID threw a bit of a wrench in our in-person training, and we had to cancel 2 conferences. But, we're hoping that this one is going to be fantastic, and we can have a representation from many countries, and COVID's not going to put a damper on that.
Great. And for those that may have never been to an IALEA conference, if you do sign up to be a speaker, there are benefits there that will help you get to the conference. So when the announcement comes out, please be sure to take a look and put in an application to be a speaker at the conference. Before we wrap up with conferences and move on to the future of IALEA, I did want to ask you two about maybe either a favorite moment or a favorite conference that you have. Allison, do you have a favorite moment or a favorite conference?
Oh, I'd have to say probably one of my early on ones in 1999, and I believe it was 1999, and it was in Alexandria, Virginia, and it had been the first time I had been to Alexandria and to the conference itself. And I fell in love with the conference, but I also fell in love with the area. And I've been lucky enough to move here for my professional day job. And so that was the beginning of my career, and it's just kind of come full circle for me.
And then Sheila?
I'll have to do the diplomatic mom answer, which is all the conferences are my favorite. And I can't think of any one specifically, although I have enjoyed the West Coast conferences, Vancouver. That was a great time. That's a city that I hadn't had an opportunity to visit. I'd like to head back there at some point. And then San Diego was a great conference, seeing the ocean, having a little downtime to spend it with friends, family out there. It's great experiences, not just the attending sessions themselves, but the talking with people and working with people and doing things outside of the 9 to 5 of a conference.
So I do want to spend the rest of this episode just talking about upcoming projects for IALEA, and one of which that's in development is a new supervisor and leadership course. Sheila, do you want to talk a little bit about the project and where it's at?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason. What IALEA does as a professional organization is just working for the benefit of our membership. And we do that in different ways. So the different initiatives we're working on, mentoring, training, certification, standardizing hiring and job descriptions, and ensuring that IALEA is central to intelligence analyst positions, not only in the US, but throughout the world. Again, that I in international is really important to us. So as we focus on the future, we're currently working on developing a new manager course, leadership course for intelligence analysts. We're working in conjunction with LEIU, who partners with us on our conferences, and it's addressing a specific need, 2 specific needs, actually. So the intelligence manager job position was identified early on after 9/11 as a specific group of individuals who needed at least 16 hours of training. And that was written into the National Criminal Intelligence Sharing Plan. So we are now meeting that. We are putting together course curricula for about 20 hours of training. It'll be synchronous with some asynchronous capabilities available for different aspects. We're looking at including a dozen experts in the field to record different aspects of what they believe is important about being a new manager in intelligence. And it's specifically meeting the problem that we deal with supervisors who haven't worked in intelligence. or they haven't supervised before. And that can be civilians who have been promoted to a senior analyst position. So they are now supervising an intelligence unit, or it could be sworn personnel who have come through the ranks and intelligence is one stop for them on their way to deputy chief or chief of the agency. And so all of these individuals need to have a background in what is intelligence? What does law enforcement intelligence mean contemporarily? What are we discussing when we say intelligence? How do we evaluate intelligence products? How do we manage an intelligence unit? All sorts of perspectives about working with intelligence and making sure that we don't have any missteps in our management and their practices throughout the course of their careers. So we are excited about this because it's a really great opportunity to put our stamp on an important part of intelligence within law enforcement, as well as the private sector. And we're looking forward to having that done fairly soon. We've had the benefit of working with material that one of our most valued members, Merle Manzi and Christy Manzi, his wife, have put together and have taught back about 10 years ago. So we're happy to have that curriculum and that forms the basis of what we're going to be doing. So we're really excited about this. You know that Fiat has always been face-to-face for 15 or 20, almost 20 years now. And we're evolving and looking towards a future of IALEA, which is virtual training or training online that is some sort of that has a synchronous capability so people can have a cohort of individuals, ask questions, talk to each other, work through problems that they've identified within their own agency.
What I'm excited about is obviously going through the intelligence part of supervising, but just leadership, right? There's a ton of topics you can discuss in terms of leadership and dealing with people, dealing as a middle manager, both the employees that you are supervising plus the executives that you are reporting to.
Absolutely. And the nature of our job is very much geared towards introverted people who are very focused on producing intelligence products. And we need to work our people into more of an extroverted role in a lot of cases where they're talking and dealing with intelligence processes a little more adeptly.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that it's going to be online. You almost need a section on leading in an online world now, right? Dealing with Zoom and presenting to Zoom and all that. That probably can be a topic of conversation in the course.
I would definitely say that needs to be. This is an important topic for me because I've just recently within my own agency become a supervisor, and my agency is just now transitioning where we have more intelligence professionals who are beginning to take on those supervisory roles. And I definitely started this position during COVID where we were remote. That is definitely something that presents a challenge for getting your team up and running and working together and them understanding you and how it works. You don't have that in-person team building capability. So it presents other opportunities for you to engage with them. But I think we need to definitely include that in this course.
It is interesting because I started working from home 3 years ago. And I worked in the office for several years and then started working from home. So I know a lot of folks still back at the office, so picking up the phone, asking questions isn't that big a deal. But for somebody that's brand new to an agency and working from home, that's definitely a challenge that the supervisor is going to have to address.
I think it's also a challenge for just our profession as a whole. I've always seen, what makes a really good analyst is their network, right? It's if they know the right person to call to get the information that they need. And that takes curation, that takes you going out and meeting people and doing these things to kind of build, for lack of a better term, that Rolodex of contacts. And that becomes challenging in a virtual space, but also it might actually give you more opportunities to expand that Rolodex because you're not bound by a physical meeting either. So it's challenges and benefits to it.
Again, because of COVID and the need to do more online, the association is also exploring online webinars and even more engagement through the website. Allison, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We had to pivot as an association pretty quickly when COVID happened to bolster our virtual presence, to just really accommodate our members and to give more offerings. I think we did a pretty good job so far. We're certainly hoping to expand the offerings and the capabilities. We're looking into different platforms that we can use. We collaborated with our corporate partners to offer various online webinar series. Our partnership director, Tracy Lemke, she took a hold of this and she ran with it. It was a huge effort, but she was really kind of banging these webinars out to fill that training gap that has happened during COVID. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from our members on the webinar series that we've offered through the corporate partners like Chorus, Intrepid, and GeoTime. One of the other things that we just started to do this summer, since we have had to cancel 2 of our annual conferences, we started to do a virtual conference webinar series with LEIU. So some of those presenters who were on deck to present at the canceled conferences, we've taken their presentations and we've converted them into a webinar series. So the first one we held June this past summer. It was on the 4 pillars of intelligence. And the second in the series is scheduled to go on October 14th, and it's on threat profiling. So we're really going to try and keep increasing our offerings to the membership from a virtual perspective.
So with the corporate memberships, how does it exactly work? Is it still ILEA members teaching the course, or is it a mixture of some folks are from the corporate partners and then sometimes it's ILEA members teaching the course?
It's a mix. It definitely is a mix. And that's what we're trying to do, is a mix. We want the membership to engage. So, we're 3,000 strong at this point from all over the world. We really do have the subject matter experts in this field. So we want to start having people engage in that way and start sharing their tradecraft with the rest of the membership. So we're planning on building that out into the future.
And is there...
Allison makes a lot of really good points there. And one of the things that we have to do as a professional organization is attend to and carefully balance our membership in terms of not having them as a captive audience for sales pitches. And we've been successful and not so successful in the past, but I think we found a really good balance at this point, where our corporate partners realize, because they've hired intelligence analysts, usually law enforcement intelligence analysts, to work within their organizations. So we do have a number of analysts who are teaching those webinars, and it's all about expanding the horizons of our intelligence analyst community. We may get into a specific routine in our day-to-day work of putting out BOLOs, trying to identify and locate chronic offenders, dealing with problem locations, trafficking locations, dealing with the most prolific offenders and locating them. So this is an opportunity to learn more, learn about what's out there, and learn about how some of these corporate partners can improve how we do our business. So this is a great opportunity for us. As Allison mentioned, Tracy Lemke has done a great job with our corporate partners to engage and to produce material that's really useful to people.
Okay, good. And these webinars, do they come with a cost?
We have been offering them free to the membership. The conference series ones are, and the other webinars, some of them are just, we have them free. They're on the website and people can join.
And then ILEA is also exploring ways to get more membership engagement via the website.
That's right, Jason. A couple of years ago, we had a dated website platform before, and we went through a process of upgrading the platform. We wanted to have greater capabilities. We wanted more opportunities for our members to collaborate with each other through the bulletin boards that we have now and the committee sites. We've made a couple of small tweaks since we did the initial launch a couple of years ago, but in this next term for us, especially given the pandemic, we're really going to focus on expanding those capabilities within that members only portal area. We really want to bolster that content. I know Sheila talked about all of the content that's in there, but our profession, it's ever evolving, right? So we need to curate what is in our live libraries that we're offering to our members. So we want to make it a destination and a resource for our members to go to. We also want to provide the chapters with more tools for them to engage and communicate locally, and then with the broader international community as well.
That presents a lot of opportunities for our members to become engaged. So following up on what Allison said, our members can contribute different publications that they put together. They can work to create tradecraft type documents about analytic thinking, the role of intelligence analysis, resources that have been helpful throughout their careers. I definitely want to emphasize that the future of IALEA is really about our members being stewards of our organization, contributing, participating, inviting a friend to join IALEA, getting involved, because all of us working together can really improve our association and make it what everybody wants it to be.
Right. And just to add on to that, for my perspective, the content and that community is very important to me, because I want to make sure that we're serving not only those agencies that have large cadres of analysts, but also those agencies, like Sheila mentioned before, that may only have one or two analysts who really do need that community and that place where they can ask questions, share tips and tricks, and just collaborate with other experts in the field. And that's what we want to provide to the membership.
Yeah, and I think it's important, the level of engagement that you've described. It can be anything from posting a question on the forums to getting more involved in chapters to volunteering for committees, right?
It sure is, Jason. So we've talked in the past about what it takes to really be involved in IALEA. And there are so many different opportunities with various time commitments where people can jump in. I know Allison has mentioned that at chapter level, you might want to work on a topic that your chapter, if you have a chapter, can present and discuss, sort of the one-shot deals, or maybe help to run an event at the chapter level. On the other end of the spectrum, you can become an international board member, where we're spending 5 to 15 hours a week working on different projects, making sure that the organization runs smoothly. But there's plenty of in between there, depending on where you are in life and how much time you have. You can get involved in a committee or a chapter or only a specific project. And we welcome that. We want our members to really take charge of their own professional careers and get involved.
You know what? Some of that involvement can be as simple as you read the journal and you have some input or some feedback for us. I mean, that's some of the things that we're looking for from the membership also, is just, what are you looking for from membership? We need that engagement, and we're working on some surveys that are going to come out in this next quarter to really get that answer out of the membership. What can we be doing to offer services for you? So we need people to contribute to that, because we know, because we live in the profession daily in our day jobs, but, it would be helpful to have good survey returns from our 3,000 plus members, letting us know where we can fill that gap for them.
You mentioned 3,000 members. You throw out a survey and you only get 100 surveys returned. So that means 100 people is engaged, is telling you what they want to hear. And that's what leadership is going to base decisions on. So it's really important for your voice to be heard. So highly encourage folks, when that survey comes out, to fill it out and let your thoughts be heard. Is there going to be any kind of incentive for filling that out? I don't know. That's I think it may be the corporate thing. You could throw in some kind of contest or something like that, or pick a name out of a hat kind of thing to get some kind of prize to kind of coax people into filling out the survey.
We've definitely been brainstorming some solutions to that. And surveying is not easy, and I'm sure Sheila can speak to that from an academic standpoint. I can speak to one that we recently did. If you get 10% return, you've sort of achieved your mission, I guess. But I'd like to see us do a little bit better, because this is for the membership. So we'd like to get some better responses. So we'll certainly see what we can do to incentivize it.
Exactly. Great points. And hey, as analysts, we should love evaluation and we should love research, and we certainly don't do enough of it on ourselves in this profession. So we definitely need to improve our response rates and it's no different from any other professional organization, because in talking with leaders from other groups face the same thing, very low response rates. And so sometimes small issues become magnified. But when we're leading this organization, we want to make sure we hear all the perspectives. So that's one way to get involved, is to actually respond and provide some feedback about people's views and where people want us to head into the future.
So to finish up, I want to give each of you the last word. It's just an opportunity to wrap up this episode. In my normal show, this is called Words to the World. I give the guests the last word. They can promote any idea that they wish, kind of thing. So this is a time for just you to promote anything that you want for IALEA. And Allison, we'll start with you.
Sure. I just want to share that I've personally gotten a lot out of my participation with IALEA over the last 20 plus years. The more people contribute, the better it is. I've had so many opportunities to talk with analysts from all over the world. I've learned so much from the membership, and I learned that basically we all face the same challenges no matter where we are in the world. And that's kind of makes the world a bit of a smaller place for me. But I would want to encourage people to not just become a member, but really engage with the association. And as Sheila mentioned before, be good stewards of the profession by contributing. Everyone has a ton to offer. We certainly are a volunteer organization. There's always a place for you to contribute, whether it's going to be a part of one of our committee positions under one of the international directors, if you're helping with annual conference by doing a teaching block, becoming a mentor, and helping the next generation of analysts, or sharing publications, trade crafts, or resources via our bulletin boards. We just want to encourage people to engage, because it really will give back to you and it will help you in your career.
And Sheila?
Wow, Allison did a great job of summing that up. I think I'm going to have to talk a little bit about the future of IALEA. And as I think about IALEA and how it exists as a professional organization for all of the analysts beyond the individual. The I and the A is about our international association, and it's not about specifically one person within our profession who does it all and who is the one person who speaks for us. Allison and I are in these roles because we've been elected by our membership, and we appreciate being here, and we appreciate being part of what IALEA is focusing on in the future. Allison directs our strategic plan, and that's an important initiative that people ought to be aware of as they join this organization, that we have guidelines, we have ideas that are written and are malleable, but they are out there for what we want our profession to become. So there are two mantras that I try to live by. Are we going to be part of the problem, or are we going to be part of the solution? So, hey, you can tell I have kids because I have to coach them on a regular basis. You know, negativity really infuses social media and what we see on a day-to-day basis. But as we focus on our professional organization, we want to be part of the solution, part of something that's bigger than our individual selves. The second is how you perceive challenges within your work life or within the profession. Do you identify those as obstacles, or do you identify them as opportunities? Sometimes it's hard to see them as opportunities. Sometimes it's hard to see those obstacles and say, this is an opportunity for me to expand and grow, for our organization to become better. But we have to have that positive, forward-thinking mindset that obstacles are temporary, but if we look at them in the right way and we deal with them, they can really push us out of our comfort zone. And in terms of IALEA, it's about all of us working together. I think, like Allison, she and I have both become better analysts and become better people because of our experiences in IALEA, the people we've met, the experts we've had an opportunity to work with. But it's about other people joining in to carry our profession forward. We're not going to be here at the helm of IALEA for another 40 years. We want good people with good work ethics to step up and help us out, take charge of this organization. It's all of our organization. So as we focus on the future of IALEA, just consider that I think of it as we're the stewards of where IALEA is headed, and we need others to jump in and help us out.
Very good. Thank you both for joining me on this wrap-up episode. I've really enjoyed this series, looking back at the last 40 years of IALEA, and I certainly look forward for the next 40. We did ask the membership if they wanted to wish IALEA happy anniversary, and certainly they did not disappoint. One of the members, Paul Andrews, wrote, "Happy anniversary to IALEA for successfully operating for 40 years. It's a noteworthy accomplishment and a testament to the organization's leadership, past and present. Over those 40 years, IALEA has been and will remain to be a learning organization. It exemplifies the characteristics of enduring and highly effective organizations. IALEA will remain alert, agile, adaptable, and in alignment. Great job, and I wish you continued success, IALEA." So I'm going to leave you with a montage of the other audio clips that we got. Thank you so much for joining me. Here, we're going to leave the membership with the last word.
Hi, my name is Owe Wigwe, a member of International Association of Law Enforcement Intelligence Analysts from Nigeria. I'm using this medium to congratulate IALEA on the 40th anniversary, wishing them all the best in the vision and mission of the association. Have a wonderful anniversary.
Wow, this is amazing. Celebrating IALEA at 40. I wish IALEA greater success in all future endeavors. As IALEA celebrates its 40 years milestone, I pray that IALEA will always be relevant to the law enforcement community as it continues to add professional values to build the career of members in intelligence analysis. Celebrate IALEA today, and I pray that we will celebrate many more years of this great association for professional development and many other values that IALEA has added to the lives of their members. Congratulations, IALEA. Happy anniversary at 40. From Josephine Aluko, IALEA Nigerian Chapter.
Happy 40th anniversary, IALEA. Congratulations.
My name is Jason Jordan, and I've been a member of IALEA for longer than I can remember. I initially joined when I was still working in law enforcement in the South African Police Service, and it's been a great source of inspiration, of knowledge and learning through my career. While initially starting as a fraud investigator, fraud detective, I used a lot of the analytic skills that I learned via IALEA to improve my career, and as I've moved on to digital forensics and cybersecurity, I've been able to use all of those skills that I've picked up to continue to enhance my career and make it a lot more difficult for the bad guys to get away. So happy anniversary, IALEA, your 40th anniversary. I'm going to be sticking around for a long time still, so congrats everybody, and I look forward to the next 40 years.
Dear IALEA, a very happy anniversary. 40 years is quite the milestone. I've enjoyed being a part of the association's journey over the last decade, during which it has helped to influence and shape my career tremendously. I look forward to the next 10 years and all that will bring. Again, many congratulations, and I'm delighted to say that you're older than I am. John Larkin, Director of Membership.
Hi, this is David Jimenez with the Lone Star Chapter in Texas, wishing IALEA a wonderful 40th anniversary. Myself, with almost a quarter century of membership in IALEA, I reflect on the many training conferences I've attended over the years, and every time I did attend, I always felt I was coming home. I enjoy reading both the Intel Scope and Journal each time they're provided to the membership throughout the year. IALEA has a lot to be proud of. Their accomplishments throughout the last 4 decades include relevant and timely training opportunities, new global affiliations for excellent annual training conferences, sound leadership to guide IALEA well into the future, and outstanding article contributions from members throughout IALEA Global. I would love to wish all IALEA members an exciting future in all endeavors. And again, happy 40th to all.